Hi friends! It's been a little while since we started doing stuff, or since we've been working on the cars. You know, that's alright. I was doing that intentionally, so that way I could get a whole bunch of stuff in for the STI, so that way in this video we can make a lot more progress. Now, look what I got on the car. That's right, I got our intake manifold, baby. So more stuff has been coming in for Blue here. So this is our new intake manifold. This was built by Swoops Fabrication out in New York. Last night I spent a ton of time prepping this thing for paint today, and now that I'm seeing in the daylight, I kind of just want to polish it and run it. But I'm not going to do that. It's just going to get gross and filthy over time if I do that. So we're going to be painting this thing today a wrinkle black color. It should come out fantastic. I just want to go with a black engine bay theme here for the bigger items, and then the smaller stuff I'd like to have kind of a polished look, kind of like the turbo, the alternator, somewhat stick with that styling or that coloring. So last night I went through there, sanded that thing down, cleaned it out, got all the old oil crap blow by out of that manifold, so it's ready for paint today. I just need to clean it with acetone before we go to paint it. I've also got our fender liner in for the driver's side of the car. Over here I've got a Turbo Smart oil pressure regulator for the turbo. So this will bump oil pressure down to 40 psi going to the turbo. I have a feeling that this was one of our issues with the smoking coming from the car, because precision turbos don't like too much oil, so that should definitely help. Now our coil packs for the manifold, I have stuff everywhere right now, I apologize. For the coil packs, they still mount under the manifold. We have this nice mounting plate for them, so super pumped to be able to still retain that. This manifold, I'll probably just hang it up on the wall, use it as like a decorative piece, probably use it as a practice welding piece for the future. The throttle body, super excited for this. So on our current manifold, we actually don't have this, but the throttle body seals with an O-ring that goes around here. We didn't have this flange when we built the original manifold, so now that that's there, the throttle body should seal up and everything should be solid. The manifold itself fits beautifully too. It clears the radiator neck, clears everything. It sits a lot lower, so when you look at the car from like stand back-ish, it looks way better in my opinion. It's personal preference purely on that one. So with that, I want to get this is gonna be like a 2 or 3 day video, because I have more stuff coming in. I have the fog light bezels getting dropped off today, so we're gonna be doing some modification to the bumper as well. But I want to get this portion painted and done with first, because this is gonna take a little while to cure before I can bolt it back down to the engine. So let's get to cleaning this thing with some acetone. The top is the priority. Yeah, I think the bar is a little bit better to use, because this way we can we have a little bit easier access to hit the top of this thing. Is there a way for me to elevate these? Can I get this higher? I really need a way to, I mean, I guess I can lay on the ground and paint, but how do I get you higher? Dude, I swear, sometimes my brain is so big, it hurts. Ah, dude, I'm a genius. Just use the engine hoist to hang it up to paint it. Is it brilliant? So now that we've got it hung up, I'm gonna run through here. I'm gonna blow it off with some compressed air real quick, give it another wipe down with acetone, and then we're gonna start going to town on it with this Wrinkle Plus from VHT. If we get good results from this, I'll link this down below. It says to do 1 tack coat first, wait 5 minutes, and then do 3 heavier coats. So that is correct, right? And we need to stay between a certain distance. I don't know. I'm gonna read the can before I do this, because this paint can be very finicky. I also need to get the heat gun ready, because we're gonna have to go over that thing with the heat gun after we've put all of our coats on there to start letting things cure. So let me put some gloves on and let's clean that one more time and start painting. Alright, now we wait 5 minutes, do the second coat. All right, boys, we're a couple hours in the future. I did a little bit of garage cleanup just to clean up my painting mess. Manifold came out awesome. I still can't really do anything with it until tomorrow, just because I need to let it dry more, but I did get it fit up on the car, and that black looks so good. It's gonna look even better once that charge pipe is black and the AOS is black. Some people are like, oh, you shouldn't take all this time to do all the colors. I want to. I just want everything black. I like it all black. But extremely happy with the fitment on this. Everything lines up perfectly. Plenty of clearance in the back. We've got the plate that goes underneath, and we have our vacuum ports on the back side of this manifold. I plugged them off when I was painting everything, but dude, came out freaking perfect. Once that charge pipe's black, it's really gonna fill out the front end a little bit more and look just that much better with the nice hint of like the silver anodized color. It's gonna be minty. We also have some cool caps and whatnot on the way, but I'll show you guys more about that later. I also got the plate done and the coil packs mounted up to the plate. So this plate bolts up to the bottom of the intake manifold. I'm not gonna jump on bolting this on yet. Like I said, I need to let this cure as well as the intake manifold until at minimum tomorrow. I also got our fog light bezels in. These are just OEM fog light bezels. We're gonna be cutting these up and doing something with these to fill out the gaps in our bumper. So, excited for that. We'll also get this oil pressure regulator on tomorrow, as well as like a fire extinguisher bracket and some other stuff that I have in here that we need to get done. So this is where I bid you adieu for tonight, and I'll see you in the morning. All right, you guys, welcome back to day 2. Our manifold is somewhat more dry, so that way we can actually handle it now. I went ahead and I got the coil packs bolted up to everything like that, so I can show you guys kind of how it all mounts. It fits absolutely beautifully, both fitment-wise on the TGV housings. There's no TGVs in the car, so I guess the intake runner housings and the coil packs, everything's like perfect. Dude, it looks so good. I love it. With the black AOS in here and that charge pipe being black, I think it'll look nicely. The silver is a nice offset to everything. I know we have silver caps coming for power steering and the brake master cylinder, so it should offset everything nicely. The red just has to go. I do not like the red in the engine bay. I've never been a huge fan of it. I was throwing around the idea of maybe doing the turbo, that textured black color also. We'll see. I'm not 100% decided if I want to do that yet, but the plate and the coil packs down there mount it perfect. But I'll show you guys that here in a second. I want to go ahead and get this fender liner tossed in real quick, so let's go ahead and get the car up on quick jacks. Let's get this wheel off. Let's get that new OEM fender liner put in here. Sweet! Splash guards back in over here. The main reason I wanted to run splash guards again is A, to protect the wire harnesses up in here, B, to protect the backside of the oil cooler from the tire kicking up rocks. Now it's just going to hit the splash guard, and C, to protect the frame rails from rocks getting up into them. I don't really know how well I'm going to be able to show it over here, but if like right down in there where the frame rail is, it just kicks up a ton of rocks. I think for this side, I'm just going to order an OEM splash guard and then just trim it, so it probably just ends right about here, so that way it's a little bit away from the exhaust. It still protects the upper wire harness, and it'll still protect the frame rail. I think that's just going to be the best course to do here. I don't really need a splash guard up in this whole general area by the wastegates and whatnot. I'm just not too concerned up there. So dope. One less thing to do. Now I'm going to jump to the bumper because this has been bothering me for a while. Originally, I had ordered some JDM bezels for down there, but I have a new plan that I'm going to do. So I hacked these up a while ago to fit the intercooler piping. The intercooler piping is just so big that you can't really fit a bezel on here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clean up all of these cuts. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to just leave an open triangle right here. And then with these bezels, once I have the template made on the back side of the bezel where it's going to go in, I'll trim the bezel down, probably like right down the middle or something, so that way the bezel still has the turn signal and the fog light integrated into it, and then it's just got a big hole in it where the intercooler piping is. Like that's just the best thing I can think of to do at this point. I need to clean this bumper too, it's kind of gross. So let me go through here, start cleaning up the cuts behind all of these bezels first, get the bumper looking good, and then we'll start trimming the bezels. So I have the driver's side done, but to show you guys like the before, like this is what we were working with before. It was just kind of like some cut up, half mangled bumper stuff here. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm a rock it because it does look better than this. That intercooler piping is just so big, we don't have a lot of options here, but I think that looks way better if we're being honest. Like the shroud is still around it. You can see the oil cooler through there. I like how you can see the intercooler piping through there as well. Like I dig it. I dig it. There's still a little bit of shroud to like cover up these two guys, which I thought just kind of looked out of place. I wanted to cut up more of the back bumper support, but I need that there for the fog light, so it's a little unsightly. I don't quite know what I'll do with that yet, but it literally gives like perfect flow straight to the oil cooler right there. So maybe I'll just leave that there and then maybe build some I can't really build some ducting through here either. There's just no room. So this side's done. I'm gonna go mock up the other side. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it looks beautiful, but it looks better until I find a more permanent option, or maybe I swap to a 2018 bumper at some point. It's a temporary solution. Don't look half bad. It looks better than it did before, which is all that matters. Now, I do kind of like the fact that you can see the intercooler piping, and it doesn't really look like anything's changed like on camera up until you get kind of close. I mean, I don't think it looks half bad. Like, I don't know like a better way of cleaning up the cuts on that or making it look better. I didn't quite trust just the clips holding that thing in, so I did use some of the old beauty washers that I had from Karma that I had laying around for the fender flares. I don't think it looks half bad. The wires are all going to get tucked up and around the bumper, so you're not going to see any of the wires through here. The only thing you're going to see, if you do look through that hole, is probably the external wastegates and intercooler piping. Over here on this side, all you see is intercooler piping and oil cooler, so I don't think it looks bad. They're functional for now, I guess. I also cleaned up the cuts going along the front of the bumper here and underneath of it, so for the bumper, I'd say we're solid right now. I think I'm done fiddling with that. There's one more quick thing I want to do before we start getting into more engine stuff, and that is mounting up my fire extinguisher. So I don't know if this will fit with our race quips, but we're going to find out. This literally just bolts up, as you guys can see in the picture, on the passenger side, and then it holds a fire extinguisher. I already have a fire extinguisher, so it's a good investment to have, is just to have a fire extinguisher in the car if you don't have a fire suppression system, which is very expensive, by the way. But the next best thing, fire extinguisher. So let's get this guy bolted up real quick. I'll kind of just skip past showing the install of it. It literally just bolts up to where the seat bolts into the frame. I'm waiting on a fire extinguisher bracket to come in to actually hold the fire extinguisher down, but if we pull it away, you guys can see the two little bracket guys right there, and then the actual bracket that holds the fire extinguisher will just bolt up to that. So safety is always important, you guys, hence why I put stock seat belts back in the car. We have fire extinguisher, all that stuff. So a quick message from today's sponsor, Haviland. So they recently came out with this new Haviland Pro RS oil in their nice smart change packaging. We're using 70% less plastic. I mean, you guys, we like race cars. We like building these cars to go fast. The least we can do is try to make the environment a little bit happier by sustaining what we can. Now, this oil is actually made for like smaller capacity performance engines like we like. That's going to include supercharged engines, turbocharged engines, and performance engines. When it comes time to the next oil change in the BRZ, I'm going to be using that Pro RS oil in there. Very excited to see how it does. Now, there's something really cool about this oil, and it's not only petroleum based like most oils are. So the Haviland Pro RS is 25% plant-based. Plus, to be using a 25% plant-based oil in a performance car is fantastic. As car enthusiasts, we try to do our part as much as we can to help bring down our carbon footprint, especially with modifying and building race cars like this. Now, I'll be throwing that oil in the BRZ on the next oil change, and the Evo as well. We're still on break-in oil on the STI, so there's not much I can do about that one quite yet, but we'll probably be throwing some in there as well. It's really cool to be able to see companies like Haviland be able to come out with these carbon-friendly petroleum products for our cars. So I'm very excited to be able to throw that in the cars. But if this is an oil that you guys are interested in, I'll link more information down below in the description for you guys. And if you're looking to pick some of this up, you can snag it at walmart.com right now, as well as ask your local lube tech places, oil change places. If you go and get your oil change somewhere, they should be stocking some of this stuff around the area that you guys are in. So huge shout out to our friends over at Haviland. Now before we go bolting our intake manifold down and everything like that, what we need to do next is figure out where we're going to put our oil pressure regulator. Somebody brought this up in another video with some blue smoke coming out of the exhaust. That's probably going to be oil. Precision turbos, they like oil, but they only like a certain amount of oil. And we're running a modified 12mm pump that's been shimmed, so it bumps our oil pressure up. So that turbo is probably seeing way more oil pressure than it needs to be seeing. And because of that, it's probably burning off some of that excess oil through the exhaust. So we're gonna try to mitigate that today. Okay, well, the oil pressure regulator was an easy spot to find. I literally walked up, I was like, oh, it'll go right there. So we're just gonna mount it off of the manifold on that bolt right there. I went ahead and I'm painting the bracket that holds it, that nice wrinkle black as well. So that guy needs to dry before I can go ahead and get the oil pressure regulator mounted up. So until that thing dries, there's some, get out of here. There's some other things that I need to do. I'm gonna make spark plug wires. I need to make longer ones to be able to reach the new manifold. So I'm gonna get to town making some spark plug wires. All right, Daddy-O, we got new spark plug wires in. They're all cut to length. Now, I just ordered a black AOS. I'm about to sell that red one. Luckily, Matt's letting me kidnap his, so huge shout out to Mr. Matthias. We're gonna swap over to this black IAG AOS. This one is for mittens, but we got a replacement one on the way, so the replacement one will go to the Legacy. Let's do that real quick. Let's swap out AOSs. Then I need to cut up this charge pipe, and then before we permanently bolt down this manifold, I also need to make the oil lines for that, but I'm still waiting on a couple fittings, so no harm, no foul on that one. And then I also need to figure out why my oil temperature sensor isn't working, which I have a feeling it's like a wire came depinned or something like that, so we'll take care of that also. But let's get this red out of this engine bay first. Dude, that looks so much better with the manifold black and the AOS being black. I don't care what you say, I love it. Charge pipe will be black too once we redo that. I gotta go hop on the live stream for a little bit though. Oh, and this will be black too. Everything will be black. All black, everything. So I gotta go hop on the live stream for a little bit, but when I get off the live stream, I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna cut this front pipe up a little bit so that way we can start relocating some stuff and start figuring out how we're going to do our front charge pipe here, because there is a way. I just don't know what it is yet, so I'll be right back. All right, back from the live stream. A couple more smaller things that I can do right now that I'm going to do. So get them done with. So I believe I have enough fittings to be able to do the oil feed line from the block to our oil pressure regulator here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that made up real quick. I'm gonna get this old oil line out of here that I'm not using anymore. And then that should be at least that half of it done. So that way I think I can bolt the manifold down after that too. Oil temperature sensor. I still gotta figure that one out. So many little things. It's all right. We'll get it sorted out. Let's do that oil line first. Dude, looks so good, even in the dark. So the manifold bolted down beautifully. No stretching, nothing like that to get it to fit. Everything's torqued down. Gaskets are all there. AOS is installed, or reinstalled, I guess I should say. We have one oil line done from the oil pressure regulator down to the block. I have vacuum line getting dropped off to be able to finish the rest of the vacuum lines tomorrow, but in all honesty, you guys, we have one more video of building this thing and then it's ready for the dyno. All that's left at this point is to wait for the jumper harness to come in for the cluster, redo part of this front charge pipe. A couple tiny things like the last oil line from the OPR to the turbo, and the lines from the oil cooler to the sandwich plate, which did ship out. That'll be here Monday. So there's literally like two or three things left, and it's just waiting for small parts to come in, and then it's ready for the dyno. That's really weird to say, because this car's almost done. Well, I'm not gonna say done because no car is ever done, but version 1 of this thing is almost done. That's wild. That blows my mind. I'm really happy with the engine bay now that this stuff is black. I'm still on the fence about painting the turbo black, the same black as the intake manifold and the AOS. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that if you guys think I should. But this just looks so freaking good, you guys. It's just so trippy to think that it's almost done. Like, I've been working on this car for so long. I remember when it was stripped completely. I remember when I was building a harness for it. Now that all that's left is to redo a charge pipe, finish a couple oil lines, and then tune it. That's so weird. That's weird. It boggles my mind. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. Like I said, it'll be done in the next video. The next STI build video will be the final one for version 1 of the STI before we send it to the dyno. So exciting. I mean, it's scary but exciting, because I am scared to put this thing on the dyno. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. Massive strides of progress. That new intake manifold really, I think, tops off the engine bay. It just exquisitely. So if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go hit that like button. Turn black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. Color of the day today is World Rally Blue, because you know we are in the garage with blue. So we're doing blue. Also, if you guys are not entered, you have less than a week to get entered into our 500 wheel horsepower capable EJ25 or FA20 short block giveaway. We'll do the drawing on May 6th? It's the Friday after this coming Friday. This coming Friday is the last day to get entered. That's all you got. New merch is up on the site if you do want to snag some new stuff. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel already and you want to be, one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but if you want to see this car go to the dyno, hit the button. It's free. It's literally free. Just hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. But anyways, with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.